Alright, market update time. So let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, so we're doing a market update right now, and one thing I really want to point out, in this video I'm going to be looking at the daily, weekly, monthly charts and tying them all together and see if we can build a bit of a picture, see what's going on right now. So the first thing I want to say is this, is that the market right now is pausing where we are right now, and the stochastics are still pinned where we are. So that tells me that we may still get a little bit, we actually may continue this up run. It really is like in a sticky situation, if you're going to call it that, because the market right now is definitely not pulling back as hard as I thought it would, but we're at this area of resistance and we're getting the stochastics pin. So we may continue moving up just a little bit more from this. And again, it's a situation where it can move up or it can move down, because we're at that area. And, it's basically do or die situation. So that's what I see on the short term. You can see if I look at the volume as well too, there's a bit more volume today, but really a nothing day today. And so that's basically what I see on the daily chart. And you can see that we've had like a bit of a sideways movement. No big sort of down days yet. We haven't got that yet, but we are sort of going sideways through here. But if we start to look at the bigger time frames, and let's start to blow this right out. Actually, firstly, let me go down to the hourly chart, and I'll show you what I see on the hourly chart. This is what I see on the hourly chart. We see we can just sort of squeezing up, and we're squeezing up. If you look at this on a bit more of a bigger picture, and let me just bring up my trendline drawing tools, we can see we're squeezing into this overall sort of triangle pattern. So wherever it breaks, if it breaks up, we're likely to continue running up and continue having a nice up day, or if it breaks down, we're likely to continue moving down. Now, if you draw a trend line from there to there, especially on this S&P chart, you can actually see, Dow Jones chart, you can actually see that's where it's actually having problems right now. So we are at a do or die situation. Are we going to break this resistance and keep moving up, or are we going to break down and start getting that pullback, which everyone's waiting for? So, and it will eventually happen. Eventually, we just don't know when that pullback is going to happen. So that's the hourly chart. Let's go back to the daily chart now. Let's go back to the daily chart. So this is the daily chart. We are expecting a pullback, and I still am expecting a pullback. And even if we get like a little bit more upside, then I still think I still think that a pullback is going to happen. We just don't know when. This thing can be pinned, and it can just keep running up, like it's done many times. Like this here, you can see here, it just keeps running up, and then it just keeps running up. So that's what I'm seeing in the markets right now. I'm seeing that yes, we may get a little bit more. We may get some more upside looking at this right now. So that's what I see on the daily charts. Again, we are at a situation where it's like do or die, because if you look at the weekly chart, this is the weekly chart here, and let's just go weekly chart. Okay, my button's not working today. Alright, so weekly chart. You can see at the weekly chart where we're at right now. We are definitely at an area of resistance, where the market is definitely at this strong area of resistance right now on the weekly chart. So it does look like the market wants to pause and have a little pullback here, but we just don't know. It can keep having a little bit more upside moving from here. And if you go from there, and then if you go down to even like the monthly charts, then you see at the monthly charts, once again, we get this area of resistance. But if you squeeze this monthly chart up, let's squeeze this monthly chart up. If you squeeze this monthly chart up, you can see overall that the acceleration, once again, the acceleration of this move going through here. I do still believe that overall, over this year, we're going to head down towards the 14,000 level, at least the 14,000 level, obviously on the Dow Jones. So we can see where we're at right now. And if you look at the one thing that I'm watching as well too, is that we are really at a what we call a do or die situation. if you draw a Fibonacci level, let's just bring this up here. I'm looking at the monthly chart now, and if you draw a Fibonacci retracement from the high, basically the high down through to the low of this move, from this overall big sort of move. What's that about? What's going on there? Something's going on there. Let's do that again. Alright, so we go from the high, basically the high, down through to the low, and let's bring this up through. Oh, it did it again. It did it again, didn't it? Something's going on with my software today. Let's just do it once, and then we're not going to touch it again, eh? Let's do that. There we go. Bam. Alright, so that's the weekly. This is the monthly. This is the overall leg down from the monthly charts. It's running right back up. We're hitting that area of 62% resistance, and we're hitting this area of resistance on the big charts as well too. That's that chart. And if we have a look at, why is my keys suddenly stopped working? That's okay. So we can see that, and you can see this top area here, this top Fibonacci is a 62% resistance, plus 62% retracement, plus this whole bunch of area resistance. That's the reason why it's pausing where it is right now, because it's deciding what it wants to do. So, you know, maybe, just maybe, we actually start to get a pullback soon. We will get a pullback. You just don't know how long these extended runs up. As I say before, on the daily charts, we can see here on the daily charts that it's sort of just going sideways. The stochastic's been pinned. Once the stochastics start to get back below this sort of 70 line through here, or that line through there, that 70 line through there. Once we actually start getting below that, we start getting the stochastics below that, that's when I think we're likely to start seeing a decent pullback down to at least 16,400, which is this resistance and support level. As you can see. Now looking at places like the S&P 500, and nothing is working on my charts right now. Oh, there we go. How awesome is that? Just reloaded my software. We're now ready to go. Now, let's actually continue on now. Look at the S&P 500. Again, S&P 500, what is happening with that right now? We're at this major area of resistance, plus we've had this big extended move up, had this bit of a double bottom. We're at this area of resistance right now as we speak. Looking at the weekly chart, you can see what's happening right now. We did make a lower trough, so I actually am expecting, especially on the S&P 500, that is definitely a weak sign. The only thing that I'm not sure about is that the Dow Jones, if the Dow Jones made a major lower low, oh, it's all over. Red Rover. Down, down, down we go. I still do believe down we go. But the Dow Jones really is like the leader in my point of view. Like, I really follow the Dow Jones. It seems like what the Dow Jones is saying, everything else follows. So especially when you look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 really follows a lot with the Dow Jones. But as you can see here, that it made this major lower low on this weekly chart, and now we're running up to this, both its area of resistance through here and resistance through here. So looking on the daily chart, we are again getting pinned, and we're at this area of resistance where we are struggling right now. Let's go to the monthly chart. This is the monthly chart. Once again, what is happening on the monthly chart? We can see we actually were in this sort of squeezed up triangle pattern through here, and now we broke out, come back up, testing this area of resistance. If we fail here, then yes, we're going to start that acceleration move to the downside on that chart as well too. Moving on now to say the Russell. The Russell yesterday actually had a 2% down day. So the Russell out of most of them is actually is very volatile. It really is volatile. So if you own any stocks in the S&P and the Russell 2000, expect a lot of volatility, because that's the thing that really moves around. And you can see here once again we've been pinned for quite some time on the Russell as well too. We're at that area of resistance right now. Looking on the weekly chart, what is happening? Well, we're actually at this whole area right now of resistance, especially this area right here, this darker area. That is definitely an area of resistance for me, and we're at that level right now. I'm waiting for a move down. Looking on the Fibonacci levels, you can see here that actually my support and resistance box, it goes straight in line with that level there. So that's what I'm seeing there on there, and also, obviously also the Nasdaq as well too. Nasdaq's doing what it's doing right now. It's actually at the area of resistance, going up to the daily chart. The Nasdaq is actually slowly pulling back. That's actually not a weak sign at all. So when a market slowly pulls back, that's telling me that we're trying to get. It looks like it's maybe trying to elevate to have another move to the high side. Now that's what's actually showing me here. So if we don't start to really get some serious moves to the downside, we're going to continue this up run. This stochastic is going to be pinned for a short term anyway. So that's what I'm seeing there, guys. Overall on the overall charts itself, you know, if you have a look at things like the where are we here? The transportation average. You can see here on the transportation average, if I go to the weekly chart, we're actually still at that major area of resistance where we are. And you can see especially this area right here is definitely the area of where it's got major areas of support and resistance in the past. It's paused right there right now. Even the weekly stochastic is getting up there, which is a very weak sign because most of the other indices don't actually have the stochastics up there. But anyway, the stochastics is like 5% of the equation. It's all about price action first, stochastics second. So then go to the daily chart. You can see how we're getting ready, and we're trying to get a little bit of a pullback here. So we had this big drop down, and this sort of slowly moved back up, and then now we're at this level right now. And we see where the stochastics are right now. So I'm actually expecting, especially on the transportation average, that we start to get a bit of move to the downside. Now looking at the chart that I've been keeping an eye on for quite some time, which is the advance of the decliner line, that is really extended, like all the way up to the top here. Now if I zoom this in and let's spread this thing out, and if I bring up here and I bring up, say, okay, this is the trend line, this is where it's actually been, and I squeeze this back up, you can see that this advanced decliner line is so extended that it got to a peak where it hasn't actually even been for the last couple of years on the stochastics. That means that this market is really extended to the high side, and we are due for a pullback. And even if you bring it down just a little bit, especially for the blue line as well too, the blue line, you can see, guys, every single time that we've gotten up here, in the short term anyway, we generally get a move to the downside. If you look at this point through here, that point through there is actually that point through there. We actually didn't get much through there, and actually continued up for another couple of weeks, and then we had this lower thing through here, and then the market pulled down, came back up, had this swing through there. That swing through there was around about that point through there, came up a little bit and then turned around. That point through there is obviously that point through there, came up a little bit and turned around, and so on and so forth. So as I said before, guys, that's the reason why I don't look at the stochastics or like take the stochastics just by itself. I always look at the price action first, and then the indicator second. And so the indicator is just telling me that this market's getting really extended, but the price action is telling me that as well too. Looking on the bigger time frames, man, I'm speaking fast today. Yeah, go me. Again, we're running back up into this overall area of resistance. We really have extended this move up a lot more than I originally thought. We are bumping at this area of this long-term trend line coming down through here. So I think, guys, we're actually at a do or die situation. I don't think we're gonna continue to run to new highs. I think once again, I think this is a sucker rally, and it may go up for a little bit more because, like, looking at the Dow Jones, as I said before, looking at the Dow Jones and all the other indices, we can see how it's just going sideways right now. It's got pinned, you know, especially things like the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq's poised to have like another move to the high side. So yes, we may continue getting this move up, but this still is a big sucker rally. And you watch, some big news is going to come out soon, and we're going to start getting some. We're going to start getting some really big. News coming out soon, and you watch, and we'll start to get some acceleration move. But for the short term, it looks like especially like the Nasdaq, it's trying to get some more upside in this. Having this weak little pullback is actually more strength of the bulls than the bears. Hey, it's John Howell here, and thanks so much for watching my video. You see, I'm putting out daily videos and education on helping you learning the art of successful trading. So click on the subscribe button to keep up to date with every video I do. Also, check out my story video, $250,000 in debt, cancer, overweight, family passing away, lived on the streets, and more, and how I overcome it and now thriving through my life. This is here to motivate you, so click on that image to watch my video. And lastly, if you're struggling with your trading, then you need to see my latest webinar where I'm sharing with you an amazing strategy that allows you to generate an income without getting the direction right. So click on that image on this page to register for my next free webinar. This is John Howell here. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.